What's up, guys? How you guys doing? So I wanted to give you an introduction to this video, and you're going to be getting an inside look of how I am editing Anarchy 3. I hope you guys enjoy this. I know I said before I was giving like previews to my stream because they don't usually see my YouTube channel, which is fine, but I want to give you guys something in return because you guys have been supporting me. You guys supported my 7 Days to Die video, which is awesome. It almost has 20 views, and for a non-Gotham City Imposters video, which usually gets like 30 to 60, that's huge. So I hope you guys like kind of respect that. I'm taking a bit of a break from Gotham for just a little bit. Not really. I mean, I'm still gonna post videos every once in a while. When it comes to Gotham City Imposters content, it's just the game is getting a little frustrating right now because of the people that are playing it and the connections and all that fun stuff. But I wanted to give you guys something in return, a little bit of a sneak peek into Anarchy 3 and how it's being developed. Is so far the last clip that I've edited. Now I'm going to show you the preview that I have, and this is what I have done so far. Alright, so go into our preview mode. No, I haven't put in the gunshots yet.
Wasn't confidence or irreverence. Complication fails, lighting the light in your eyes. All the memories, they're no good to me. With a perfect smile, living a life you and I. But it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, no. Yeah, and I'm done with the lies and I'm done with the pain. Done with those nights I'm screaming your name. I can't let go of you or I'm all alone. I'm so sick of your pressures, I won't play your game. Out of the world, I won't be the same. I can't let go of you or I'm all alone.
And that's what I have done so far. It's looking pretty good, and I can't wait to finish this bad boy. This is probably going to be like 4 minutes, 5 minutes. I'm shooting for 5 minutes long. I just played so much Gotham. It's like killing me to play it again. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've been working hard on this thing, so let's do it. I hit a couple of new clips too, I think. I don't know if I cut them yet. I don't think I have. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at in a second. Yes, push up quad head. This was actually in my newest Gotham video. It was very heartbreaking because it was a really nice clip. I'll cut that up later and we'll use it. But I have this, bam, and then this goes into the next clip, which I have to keyframe. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lower this. That way it's not too loud for you guys. And keyframe the next part. So all we gotta do right here is match up the beats and the parts that I want to sync up to the song. So as you can see right down there, you have the keyframes all up in the line. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. And that right there, 1, 2, 3, 4. So wait a minute. That's gonna be a transition. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be the next clip, which is going to be a quad feed. So it's going to be 1 clip or 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4 shot, and then that's going to go into the next clip. So you got transition, 1, 2, 3, 4, transition. Yep. So you got that. So what we got to do is find a clip that is a quad feed. Go into Anarchy 3. And these are all the clips that I have, and some of them I've already used in the montage. So we got to find a quad feed. And I think this one is going to be the one. Oh, I thought that wall was wall bangable.
I keep hearing your game sound. I'm like, where is he? I don't see him.
Damn. Ooh, that was a nice quad. So that one was $1, 3 persuader. And I actually like that a lot. I haven't hit a clip that had a persuader in it in a while. So that was really nice. So since that's a 4 kill, we're going to plop that into our archive here and then plop it down into our timeline. Bada bing, bada boom. It's already in there. So we're just going to mute that sound because we're going to add in gunshots later. We got to find the first shot that we want. And then that'll lead into the transition. So we go. Our first shot's going to be here. And line it up with a shot. Right there. And then we cut that. Then we find our transition, which is going to be right here. And the cool thing about this transition right here is that it's already running. So we can cut that out and make sure we don't have any contamination in the back for our last clip. And so here's what it's going to be like. Bam. However, we want to make sure that this gets slowed down before he goes into the shot, before I go into the shot. So we're going to go to time, enable time remapping, and we're going to manipulate the speed at which this goes. So right here, as he's pulling up, we set a keyframe. And then as he's zooming in, we set another keyframe. And the reason why we stretch this is because it's going to elongate that time frame. So you see it goes and then it goes slow, then it goes in for the next shot. So let me show you what that'll look like. Just let it play out for now, and then bam. Now you see how that when that came in, he slowed down right before he was going into the scope. Just like that, and that's how smooth it is. And that's what you want. Bam. And the cool thing about this next part, bam, and we're going to do this, probably the same thing. I don't know. But right now, all we want to do is just sync up the clips. So that's what we're going to do. It'll show us switching. We want to line it up with a shot. Even though the thing about this game is that it's a bit slow when it comes to showing or lining up the kill with the kill feed, because it has this natural input lag, which is something that's pretty annoying. But this will be fine right here, so bam. Make sure you account for the time crunch in between the shots. And so you're going to have right here going to be the build up, or the climax of the build up for the next shot. It's going to be like this. Bam, bam, bam. And then it'll be what's cool about this part right here is that the kill feed lasts long enough to where we don't have to worry about it when we slow it down. So we'll cut that out, and then we can see what it's going to look like raw. Now that's what it looks like raw. It's very choppy because of how weird this clip looks. Now this is how we're going to make it look better. For each shot, we're going to do the same thing that we did with this transition. As soon as he shoots, cocks back, it's going to slow down. Same like this, same like this, same like this.
All these visuals stuck inside my head was so
And that's so we can make it look a lot better. Let me listen to this one more time.
all these visuals stuck inside my head.
Bam. Okay. Let's fix this. And for each one, we're going to do time remapping. And that's going to allow us to slow it down. Okay. So, did we already finish this first part? I think we did. Let's take a look at it.
All these visuals
You see that? So as soon as he shoots, it cuts to that slow-mo. We're going to do the same thing here. Unfortunately, the way that this game works, it would be a little hard to show the transition, which is okay. The strippers arrive early, dude. I tell you what, I wish. So, bada bing, bada boom, and you get the gist of it. So we're doing that for every single one. This one included. Time keyframe there, time keyframe here. Now this, oh, here we go. Editing isn't the most glorious thing in the world, but when it all comes together, it looks amazing. So bam. And that right there is where we're going to keyframe the slow-mo. And then we're going to be doing the extra stuff. So let's take a look, see how it looks.
all these visuals stuck inside my head was so bad to see.
Now look how much better that looks now that there's actual slow-mo in each clip. Now it shows that for each shot, there's a slowed down reaction time for the next shot, so it doesn't look so jumbled up together. So it's a lot better than what it once was. Let's take a look at it one more time.
All these visuals stuck inside my head was so bad.
Now right here, I actually want to fix this. I want to make this a little bit more slow. So how we can do that is just stretch it out even more. Yeah, okay. Download. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Frosty. Download of. Oh no shit. That's a download porn in 2 seconds. What? All right, so here we go.
All these visuals stuck inside my head was so bad.
That to me looks a lot better since he's not shooting at the floor a second time. And what we know what we can do, we can actually shrink that just a tad right before he shoots.
All these visuals stuck inside my head was so bad to see.
And right here, I think what we're gonna do is this. I think we're gonna stretch it out to 2 keyframes or to 2 points of sync.
Stuck inside my head was so bad to see.
Yes, that's what we're going to do. The thing about this is we can stretch it. So by stretching it, what I mean by that is we're going to stretch this clip out so that way it'll meet the next sync point. And we're going to stretch out our slow motion. Probably, you know what? This is what we're going to do with our slow motion. delete that time remap, and find a place where we can sync it even better. So we're going to sync it up here, the time remap there, and then stretch this out. And so this is what we're going to be left with at the end. And so right here, there's going to be 2 points of sync. And this is what I'm going to do with this. We're going to find our directional blur. And the directional blur is something that you see whenever I put, whenever you see like the screen blur for like a second. And I've been using that. This is the same thing I've been using. So here we go. Go to the last frame, put down a 0. And the reason why we're putting down a 0 here is so that way the beginning of the clip doesn't get blurred. And so when we put down the 0, we can go to the next frame and then put down our value. So the value is going to be 12.1. And what you get here is, bam. That's where that comes into play. And so we're going to stop this, probably about here. And that makes the value decrease over time. So as soon as that hits, bam, and it's decreasing over time. And that directional blur is to show that it's matching up with the beat. So let's take a look at this. And we're actually going to sync some new things here too. There is a point in the song where the snare drum hits, and it's like 2 times. So we're going to sync that up. And those 2 times are right in the middle. Bam, bam, bam. And I have an idea what we can do with this. So what we're going to do is add 2 directional blurs here as well. So 1 before the frame, and we're going to keybind our 0 value. And then we're going to keyframe our 12.1 value. And then that's going to go to the last frame before the next value. And then rinse and repeat. 12.1. And then bring it back down to 0. And so this is what we get. I'm doing good. You see that? It goes bam, bam. So this is like an old school style of editing, where if you can't do many things with Buju or 3D artworks like Cinema 4D, and games like this don't have cinematics, so you put effects in there to match up with the certain beats, and that creates the illusion that you're doing a lot more than it looks. So it's a really nice way of making montages look old school, adapting that old school style, which is something I like. I'm doing good. I'm just a bit sick, so I'm editing my montage and all that good stuff before we play 7 Days to Die tonight at 7, because that's when my buddies are getting on, because that's when they get out of work. So I figure I'd be editing, finishing up the montage as fast as or as soon as I can. So now this is what this whole sync looks like. This whole sequence looks like before I add in the scaling value, and I'll explain what that is next. Cool. So let's see if we can sync up anything else. Nope, that's about it. So let's see. This is how we're going to edit scaling. Now what a scale is it changes how big or small something is, the value of something is. And this is done by finding the scale. Now I'm going to show you what a scale looks like. So A scale, if you raise it up, makes the video zoom in. You raise it down, it makes the video zoom out. So what we're going to do is keyframe this, and I have a common value of 109. And you see how that zooms it in a bit more. So we're going to go to the end of the clip. We're going to put 103. And what that's going to do is, as soon as that comes in, it looks big, and then it zooms down. Now this creates the illusion of there's a lot more going on in the clip than what is actually going on in the clip. And so it kind of pleases the eyes. And this is something you can do to pump each clip to the sync point that you're trying to sync. Hey Crow, just editing in Gotham montage right now. And it just looks very pleasing to the eye. I don't know who adopted this strategy back in the day, but it's been used a lot. And it's a very common thing to use. Now, editors like FaZe Barker, who else? FaZe, there's a guy named FaZe in FaZe, isn't that funny? And SLP, they don't use scaling that much. What they use is VFX. And VFX is essentially importing 3D objects into kind of a 2D environment. It kind of maps out the environment of the game, and then it imports the 3D objects accordingly, so it makes it a lot easier. And so you can use VFX in place of these little little cheats right here. But I'm going to show you what the first 3 clips look like. You see how it creates the illusion of there's more going on. So it kind of gives it that more of a cinematic feel a little bit. Bam, bam. And so we're going to do that with every clip that we have, because it's the only real way to make Gotham City Imposters look good, because I can't find another way to make it look as good. I kind of adopted the strategy of Barker and SLP back when I was editing Call of Duty videos, because I had cinematics to kind of help negate that effect of the scaling right here. Now I would combine the two with the scaling and using the VFX, and it would actually look really good. But you got to make sure there's not too much going on, because that would really kill it. So here's what we're going to do for this. All right, yeah, we'll keep it the same. I was thinking about putting 2 pumps in 1 clip, but that could look ugly. So we're gonna try this out. Don't know any of the people we're playing 7 Days to Die with. No, they're all close friends of mine. They're not any streamers. They're just people who like to play. So 109 to 103, and this is what it finally looks like when the clip is done. Wait a minute, did I? Oh, that would be very smart to do, wouldn't it? Got the keyframe though. So 109 to 103. Bam. This is what it looks like.
All these visuals stuck inside my head was so bad to see living a
So that right there is very nice. And keep in mind that this quality right here is at a third. You can go from a quarter to third to half to full. And the reason why we have it at third right now is to help the previews go by a lot faster. If we had it at half, it would preview a lot slower. If we had it at full, it would preview impossibly slower. So it would be really hard to kind of get things done at a fast time.
all these visuals stuck inside my head was so bad to see
Yeah. Cool beans, cool beans. So that part is done. So we have the next part in the series. And we made it look really good with the limited things that we got. So we're going to go into the next clip, and we're going to keyframe that or sync up the audio points. And this is what we're going to be doing over and over and over again.
to see living a life that to see living a life that was dead. Dreaming as we fall, irreplaceable.
It's going to be a cool segment.
To see
So here we go. So the transition to the 1, to the 2, to the 3, to the 4, and we could possibly fit another one in there. Yeah, we can. We can fit it right there. Bam, 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 bam. So what we really have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So we gotta find a clip that has 6. I think I have one actually. You can see Anarchy 3 early, see it being edited, and yeah. That's pretty much you can see. No, that's fine, man. I'm gonna be streaming for a while, dude, so I'll definitely be here when you get back. But yeah, I'm basically teaching you guys the way that I edit things and what I edit with, which is Adobe After Effects CS6. And you guys get to see all the magic happen. So we're gonna put one of our triple head 3 times in here, and I believe it's gonna be this clip. Just like that. And how many kills was that? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 shots in there. We have 6 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's listen to that. And I think what we can do with that is make sure that this right here is gonna be a transition. Or should we find one that's more than that? Yeah, this is all like behind the scenes. What you guys usually don't see is what you guys are seeing right now. This is how I edit my montages. Ugh. So we could do a 5, but are we? I want to see if I can find a 6. Rolling quad head to swap to quad head. I could do that. Yeah, you know what? We'll keep it hard. It's really hard to find some clips that really do match up. Could do this one. Oh, okay.
Now, oh my.
It was two. This one's 6.
Now,
No, yeah, we'll use this one because this one's actually 6. Yeah, we use this one. What's the new sniper? That sounds very dope. Oh, did I not? Yeah, we should pull that over here. Okay, so we found our clip that we're going to be using. It's going to be right here. We'll find the first point of interest. Boom, no scope. Bam. So we got the no scope. And then we have the run in. Make sure we take all these out. And we have to make sure we sync this up a little more. Stretch that out. So we got here. Let's take a look. Boom. This is what we're going to do for this. Stretch this out. About right here. Take that out. Put a time remap. Not right there. We're gonna put it right here. And then we put it right here. And then we're gonna stretch this out. Along with this one. Bada bang, bada boom. So let's do this. Yeah, just like that. Slow, bam. Cool. And now all we gotta do is sync them all up. Bam. Sync up that shot. I usually sync it up with the flare right there. Boom. Sync up this one. See you in a bit, Crow. And sync up the next shot. Remember to sync it up with the flare. I learned that that's like the best way to do it when it comes to this game. And then sync it up here. Gonna find the next spot. So the next spot is here. This is essentially cutting out all of the time in between each shot. And we're going to perfect this later on. And this might actually really work in our favor. Bam. Bam. Cool. Now we gotta find the point where it ends. Cool. It's never gonna be perfect on the first sync, so you gotta make sure you add some different stuff into it. Feels good that everything loads in milliseconds, dude, I bet. That'd be nice. So we're gonna be doing boom, boom, and that's where this is gonna end right here. So we're going to make sure we do some screen pumps. Get our shit looking good. So let's do one more review of what our sequence looks like. So that whole sequence could be used without having to worry about the slowdown periods, without having to slow down the clip, except for this last part. You always want to make sure your last part is a bit slowed down because that's the ending of your sequence and it's going to be backed up into another sequence. So we're going to have a bam, and then we're going to have another directional blur here. So place that bad boy down with the voice crack. Go one frame over. Make sure it is one frame. Do the blur 0, make your value 12.1. And bring that blur length down to about here. Make sure you're into that. We'll see what that looks like. So a little thing that's different about this, something I don't really like, is the time remap here. We're going to redo these. This is what we're going to do here. As soon as he shoots, it's going to be here. Then when he comes out of the scope, here, and then remap that. So it looks a little bit better. That is a bit better. And that's going to be improved with the screen pump. So let's put those screen pumps in place, shall we? Eden, how's montage coming along? It's coming along really good. So let's add our screen pump scaling, 109 to the usual 103. That's our baseline here. Now when it comes to the scaling, you don't really want to change it off too much. You want to keep it at the regular scaling, otherwise you're going to hurt the eyes. And I tell you what, it's not a fun experience. It's also, you want to keep consistency too. When you keep consistency, you keep the flow of the montage alive. And that's what you want to do. A lot of this background work eventually leads into the finished product. And then you rinse, rather repeat, and see you get something good. So there might be a couple of instances here where we can do a couple more effects, and you only really know that until you review it. So after we add these scaling options, we're going to review it and see if we can add any more effects to it. And I already have some in mind that we can add, because there are some that we have to add. But I hit some really nice bangers for this montage, and I am very happy with it. Who knows, maybe I'll try to make the push to 50 clips, but if we have like almost 40, I can deal. So we're on to the last 2 clips in this sequence. So far we're looking good, no hiccups. Also very important, make sure you guys save when you're using Adobe After Effects CS6 or Adobe After Effects CC or even Sony Vegas. Make sure you make the habit of saving a lot, because the program can crash. It's not perfect. And I've had a lot of heartbreaks happen because of crashes, no matter how big or no matter how good my rig is. So I'm thinking about doing a double screen pump on this clip. I know I didn't do it last clip, but we could do it this clip. Bam and bam.
Still living a life that was dead. Dreaming as we fall.
And right here is where we're going to add our effects. Now this is something that you guys haven't seen yet that I have done. We're going to be doing, there we go. We're going to be adding opacity flashes. We're going to be doing these manually without a preset. So let me show you. Now I have to get this down, so I have to learn the bass and snare right here and kind of implement that. And so bam, 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 bam. Those are the basses there. We got the right here at the beginning. So you get the bam, 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 bam. So let's take a look and see how this does. This is never going to be done on the first try. If it is, then we're very lucky. So we're going to place the opacity at 100. 100 is the full opacity. It's how you can see the whole clip. The lower the opacity goes, the darker the clip becomes. So we're going to keep it at 100 here. And then we're going to have a base value. You know what? We'll do this here. We're going to keep the... This is a bit hard to gauge here. No idea. So we're going to move it back to where it was. We're going to delete this marker. We're going to use this marker as a gauge. So we're going to do the same thing that we just did at 100. Down to, we keep it usually at 60, maybe 50. We'll go 50 this time. And then go to 100. I see a lot of people make the mistake of going all the way down to 0 opacity. I've done that before. That's how I used to do it. And what that does is it just makes it go all the way down to where you can't see anything, and then it pops back up full opacity and everything. And it really hurts people's eyes. And that's a really bad way of causing 100. That is a really bad way of causing epilepsy. And that's not something you want to do. That's something that I saw in example 4 that Meerkat edited for Sprat. He made the opacity go all the way down to 0. And what that did was created a very bad strobing effect, and you don't want that. That's something that really hurts people's eyes. So you go all the way down to 50, and it just dims it. That's all you got. It's all you want, is you want the dim. You don't want the full strobe effect, because you don't want to hurt people's ears, or you don't want to ears. You don't want to hurt people's eyes. So actually, have to make this. You know what? Yeah, we'll go over here. Make this 50, and you'll see what I mean in a second. Now you see how smooth that was, even though that wasn't completely in sync with the bass and snare. Maybe it was, I'm not too sure, but you see how it just dimmed it. That was a lot easier to watch than, say, having it go all the way down to 0. That was actually not that bad. I might keep it like that. Bam, bam, bam. So now you get to see the whole. I'm going to show you an example of what I mean by that too. Now right here, actually, I'm going to add some more opacity flashes. Dun dun dun. Into the next one. But here's how it looks so far. It's not perfect, but let's take a look here. So one of these clips right here had the bass and snare going wild. Right there. So perfect. Bam, bam, bam. Now we don't want to do the directional blur too much. Or sometimes I guess we can. You know, yeah, we'll do the directional blur here. When it comes to editing montages, it is all about feel and adjusting things. 12.1. Go down to 0. Go back up to 12.1. Go back down to 0. And then you're left with this. Bam. You want that subtleness right there. Right here. 1, 2. You want that subtleness. You don't want it up in your face. Hey Gareth, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. We are just editing Tajas out here. So here's how the full clip looks, and I'm probably going to keep it like this until we go back and probably add a color correction to it or whatnot. Until we go back and add sound, gunshot sounds too. Now the reason why I cuss to each clip is because when it comes to this game, it's very hard to make it look good. So doing as much as you can to kind of override the choppy animation that this game does have will, in a sense, make it look a bit better, but not always. So there are going to be certain clips where I don't scope out, I just keep my scope in, and it doesn't really look as good as I would want it to. But I mean, that's all up to my gameplay. Some people are different like that. But a clip like this is about as much as you can make it look as good. So one more time, and then we're going to move on to the next clip. That's pretty good. Boom. Bam. And into the next one. So now we're going to do our audio syncs. Pretty cool stuff.
As we fall, irreplaceable. Time to wake up, it's over, we're leaving alone.
So we got our transition, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
As we fall, irreplaceable. Time to wake up, it's over, we're leaving alone.
And I might have an idea of what we can use for this next one. Gotta look through our clips. Oh, wrong one. Anarchy 3. Let's see. What's this one?
Oh. Oh boy. What a fucking clip.
That reaction. I no scoped that last kill, which is pretty cool. Oh, how many kills was that anyway? Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is another sixer. And this seems like this whole sequence is going to be sixes. So we could try to squeeze in a 5. It all depends on like different different ways we can extend the clip. Yeah, you ain't shitting, dude. A little bit of throwback from the good old days. You already know. Club quad triple refill 2. Already did that. We could try to take a look at some of these.
Why can't they just fuck themselves?
My salt was raging. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another 5er. That was another 5er. It's gonna be hard to get 6. I don't think I have many 6 clips in this besides that last one. Crazy headshot feed work perfectly. What's this?
Okay.
Oh, what's this? 1, 2.
No! Come on.
So I'm probably not gonna
I got this
include
triple
that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Get fucking clipped, bud.
6. Okay.
Get clipped, bud. Oh my god.
So that one is one we can use. We're not going to use the initial swap triple headshot because that's something we don't really want to use. So we're going to use that one. Go back to our project, open this back up, put our same headshot clip in there, and then place it down. That is actually perfect. I'm going to find here. Bam. Bam. Cool. And let's see something here. So this is the transition into the next shot. And I have an idea what we can do like this. This will actually be a really cool transition in. So let's get our keyframes ready, our time remapping. What we're going to do is remap it from here to about here. and this will be one of the better transitions that we do. Bring this over all the way. Take out our sounds. That was cool. So, bam. That's gonna be me. That's gonna be made better by the scaling that we do. So now let's just go and sync up all of our clips here. Now, a really interesting way that, how many clips do I have so far? How many do I got left? I have, I want to say 35 clips. So I'm going to count these clips that I have same game as clips that I'm going to be as like 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's one that I'm not going to use in there. 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, and 38. So 38 clips, almost 40 that I have for Anarchy 3. And the last ones that I had were like 30 clips, and one of them was like 25. So we're going to sync up this one. We missed that. We switch. It was a pretty cool switch. Bam. We go right here. Bam. And we don't scope out. You're saving some now for the stream. Well, I'm gonna be this is like one of the days where I'm sick and I don't like want to play an FPS game currently. So what we're going to do is edit a montage. But I believe that some of the stuff that we're gonna be doing since montage is gonna be off stream, so you guys don't see everything. So we got that done. Let's go on to the next sync point. For the refill triple head. Yeah, like closing section and everything, because I don't want you guys to see the closer. So this is a really nice clip. And it goes into the last kill. And then we gotta find the closing part to this. And what we're going to do is we're going to render a preview of this once we get enough clips in. And you'll see what I mean. Okay, so cool. So bam, bam, and now we have some places where we can add our opacity flashes. Let's see. And yeah, it's going to be right here where we add our next opacity flashes. Done. Done. Yeah, cool. And our now this part right here is gonna be a bit tricky to find where we can end our clip. So let's see. Yeah, you know what? Actually, we can do that there. Cool. So now let's add in our opacity flash down there, because that's where we're going to add that. We'll do this one first, and then we'll go back and we'll do the directional blur. Let's find out where we're at, and then add our opacity. We'll go from 100, and we're going to stick with the theme of 50. 50 seems like a pretty good place to not cause seizures, so that's what we're going to do. Bam. The closer, like you guys probably already know what the closer is, as I made a video on it. As like my best clip that I've ever hit. You guys already know what the closing section is going to be. It's just all how it builds up to it, you know. And I think the closing section is going to go into a, I want to say, it's going to go into a different song. Hopefully, we'll find out. That right there was subtle. Subtle, but it worked. So let's see. Let's watch it again. Now this right here, I have an idea of how I can make this work. So I want to do the ending of the clip first. That's just kind of like, when it comes to editing, you want to, it's all about feel. And right there, as you see the character in the back is kind of like fading back, you want to add the slow motion right there. So it's going to look really, really cool. So we add a keyframe there. And as he's falling away, that's how we're going to slow it down. So it looks a little something like this. What we can do is extend it a little bit more. That is going to look pretty cool. However, we can change it. This is how we're going to change it. This is one of those things where you can add the slow motion like almost right off the bat. Like this. And then he's fading away like this. So you're almost slow-moing half the clip. That's perfect, actually. Boom, boom, boom. And so we're going to have more directional blur there. But right here is where directional blur is going to help us out a lot. So, bada bing, bada boom. Cool beans, cool beans. From 0, up the value to our regular 12.1. Rinse and repeat. And after this clip, what we're going to do is we're going to preview. So we're going to render a preview. That'll take about like probably 5 minutes. So we'll have some of a chance to chill and talk. Bam, bam. To the next one. So now we can add the scaling now. Actually, you know what? Before we add the scaling, there's a couple things I need to do here. Yep, so that's where you're going to have the directional blur happen here too. Now it may look like I'm using directional blur quite a bit, but the thing about it is it's so subtle that it's not going to overstay its welcome. So you got the 0 there, and then 12.1. And it makes for really good it makes for a really good substitute of flashes. I'd rather have more directional blur than more opacity flashes. Bam, bam. 2 hour 0. That's what it looks like right here. Very subtle. I like it. Now let's add our scaling. Down. So we're going to do our regular 109. 109. We want to make sure our 109 is up here. Perfect. 109 to our 103s. And this goes back to making sure you have consistency throughout your montage. There are certain editing styles where really large opacity flashes can work, or not opacity flashes, where really large scaling can work. But it's a very finicky style, and it's something that I haven't tampered with. But it's definitely out there. People like to make their own styles, which is pretty cool. I really encourage that. I kind of have my own style that I go with right here. And like the way I edit is very tedious. But editing with Adobe After Effects is very tedious. People can edit with Sony Vegas Pro and make montages like this, which most people do. Most people edit montages and make effects like this with Sony Vegas Pro. I grew up using this, and I have like almost a decade of experience with this. So this is what I'm used to. $103. Bada bing, bada boom. I feel my throat closing up a bit, so I'm gonna try not to talk too much, but we'll see how that goes. I usually do talk a lot. 103. Cool. And then the last part here. So sometimes when you open up the time remap, and it won't show your transform options here. So you gotta do is click that once and then click that again, and it'll show it for you. It's not really it's not a glitch or anything. It's just the way that the program is designed, because there's hotkeys that you can use too. So like say there's a hotkey for scaling, which is S. So then all of them are going to pop up with the scale. So you just, you can just close them all out individually. But you got to make sure that when you're looking for the ones that have the scaling for S, that you click on it individually. So it's going to show every single thing for scaling, and you don't want that. So you just got to close them all out. Or what you could do, you could highlight them all and then close them out each individually. But take a look and see how it did. That is what I call a perfect session right there. I liked everything about that. Look how hard this goes. Boom, boom, boom. That was cool. I like that a lot. So let's see what our next ones. We're gonna lay down the timestamps for our next ones, and then we're going to just put out a preview render and see how it does. Let's see. So we want to do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is something that we have a lot of. So that will be perfect. We have a lot of clips that are considered go on clips, but what that means is you just keep killing more and more and more people. I think Pomage kind of coined that phrase. So the next clip that we can use for that, and I already have one in mind, are these 5 ones that we have. This is where this is going to come in handy. So we have our triple head 3 times. So let's take a look at this. One, 2, 3, swap, 4, 5. That is perfect. We're going to be using that in our next clip. You know what? I think we're going to do that right now, actually. So after this one, that's when we're going to render out a preview, because this one is actually on the drop. So I want to get this one done and out of the way as soon as possible. And this is going to be heading into the 2-minute mark. So that is awesome. And these are just going to be a simple sync up. So you have the transition here, and then you have the regular shots. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's take a look at this. We're going to get rid of that. Now don't pay attention to the gameplay. We're just going to be paying attention to the sound. Yeah, perfect. Absolutely perfect. So we got the first shot. And with the first shot comes the transition. And you want the transition to always be going into the scope. He comes around, and you want this to be out a little bit more, actually. So I'm going to be out like probably around here, so we have time. What we're going to do is we're going to fade it out right about here. Yeah, right there. So let's make sure we cut this out. The thing about Adobe After Effects is, unlike Sony Vegas Pro, these don't snap to each other. There's a keyframe that you can use to snap, and that's something that I should probably be using. But it does kind of make it easier for free-flowing editing, where you don't have to worry about zooming in all the way and unsnapping it. It actually does quite the opposite. So here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to find out where, right about here, our time remap, keyframe, and we're going to keyframe that. We're going to stretch it out. Perfect. And now we just sync them together. Now the cool thing about my clips that I use is I always use Buccaneer, so I don't have to worry about my clips always like overlapping each other. And what I mean by, I don't want to do that. I want to do scaling just yet. And bam. And what I mean by that, bam. So here, it's kind of zoning out. What I mean by that is, like, when a shot goes off, it goes off like 1, 2. So here's the initial keyframe. Goes off 1, and then right in the middle, then I get another shot off. I always have some leeway to go into the next shot. It's a little bit something that's really nice when it comes to editing. But I mean, I guess it does fit some people's styles. Go into the next one. Bam. And next one. Now this is something that all of you guys can do too. Editing is something that is it not only like it's not just that one person can do it, anybody can do it. Believe me guys, if I can do this, you guys can do it. I'm not like the best editor in the world, but I'm a pretty decent one, I would say. Self-confidence is very important. Very, very important. I'm gonna find the next one. And what's cool about this one is that we swap. So we're going to find the flash into the next one. Yeah, you ain't shit in the 2015 one, yeah. Are you talking about the 1K, the scary 1K team, Todd? Which one are you talking about? And then it builds up to this last one right here. Oh no, that was the last one, wasn't it? Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was like the promo, yeah. Let's see how this is. Ah, that's why. That's why I had that keyframe there. So what to do? Boy, you're drunk. Go back to bed. Uh-oh. Not responded. Gotta wait for it to respond. This is what I mean about yeah, here we go. This is what I mean about saving. Thankfully I have autosave on, so if that doesn't work out. I'm done with the lies and I'm done with the pain. Now, a downside of editing is having the song stuck in your head for fucking years after. You become one with the song. And I'm not even kidding when I say that. So. So. Do. Here. So there are some markers I have to place down because I want to sync it up with the snare here. Yep, perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it goes, and let's see what else we can sync up. Perfect, I know what it is. And then this final part here. So I'm just doing all my syncs up, and so I can get these effects in. Perfect. So all these syncs, bam, 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 bam. Perfect. Let's sync up all these. And the first one is going to be opacity flashes. Right here. Let's do these opacity flashes. That 2015 one, it was actually pretty easy to edit, but it meant a lot to me. So I wanted to make sure I got it right. It was a really nice promo. So we're going to be doing our 15 values once again. 50. and 100. 50. Bam. So let's take a look and see how that looks. That looks a bit odd. I don't know. I don't like how that looks. So wipe all those clean, and we're going to get new markers because that didn't look on point. Did not press S. Cool. I think these ones are actually more representative of what I wanted to get. Let's try this again. So 100 to 50. And sometimes those snares are not always evenly apart. 50. One more time. Let's see how this looks. I like that. So now here, let's see what we can do. So I have an idea for this. So what we're going to do first off is we're going to put our directional blurs in here. We're going to start off with the 12.1 because our snare drum starts right at the beginning of the shot. And then repeat the process for each one. And you want to make sure, so this before, you want to make sure that your 0 ends up right before the keyframe. So that way it gives the directional blur time to stop before the next keyframe occurs. And then here. And so this is what we're going to do. It's going to be directional blur, directional blur, directional blur into probably a directional blur and opacity. Dun 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 dun. Opacity, opacity. Final shot. All right. So this is where we're going to start our opacity. So it's going to start at 100. To 50. And I'm actually pretty pumped to see this preview. 250. 100. And this, we're going to do something a bit different. As soon as it goes back here, we're going to place it to 0. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. Now that was interesting right there. So you go 50, 50, and then as it's closing in on the final kill, it goes to 0 opacity. And that is going to be, you'll see here in a second. So this is how we're going to do this. Bam, and then as soon as he shoots, we're going to get a time remap. He turns around, and this is going to be a pretty long stretch, and we're going to see how this looks. That's perfect actually, because right here is where we're going to get the next directional blur. And this directional blur is going to make it pump out a little bit as soon as he cocks back his bullet, or his what do you call it? Yeah. So, bam, his lever, I should say. So 12.1, and it's going to decrease to 0. Now let's see how that looks. Oh, I forgot to Jake, I tell you what, I forgot to press this. Make sure you press that. That is it's very important. They have the 0, 12.1, and 0 again. That's perfect. So you have directional blurs here, opacity flashes here, bam, bam. And that's pretty sick. And that's before all the scaling. So let's get to the scaling, and it's going to look amazing. Use the 109 to 103 values. You know, and this is something that I could do for hours. It's already been an hour and 35 minutes, and it doesn't feel like that at all. Editing is something that kind of just like makes the time go by. Something that I really love doing. You don't even feel the time whiz by you, and it's crazy. Because this is like one of those times where I can let my creative juices flow. And it's the same thing for when I'm editing my everyday videos, not just montages. And it's never a job when you're having fun. That's my take on it. I feel like I should do more of these editing streams. But you guys really don't want to see me edit like my regular videos, because I have to sift through 3 to 4 hours of footage to edit those videos and get things to where they need to be. Montages are completely different because you already have the clips pre-selected, so you already know what's going to be what. And the screen pump's gonna be nasty. Scale it out. 109 to 103. So much more flow. Perfect. So let's render out a preview. Now I want to make sure that I have whenever I'm rendering out this preview, I want to have the preview thing go past where it is. So that way I can just kind of gauge what's going to go up next. So like, perfect. And this song is about almost a 4-minute song. So this song is going to last us quite a bit. So save it. And this is where we render out the whole thing so far. Now what I gotta do, which I probably should do, is never press S again, because I fucked up and all of these are like open, and it's quite annoying. Right though. So go to composition, add to render queue. Make sure our best and full settings are on. Want to make sure you turn audio output on. preview it to H.264, which is MP4 file quality. And we're going to play it. Oh yeah, it's going to go right to our raw vids. You. And just, yeah, save it. I just deleted them. It'll just render as comp one, which is fine. And a life hack right here, you press caps lock, and it'll lock it right at this one spot. And that way it'll render a lot faster. That looks really dope. All right, it is done. So we have about 2 minutes of preview. Let's watch this bad boy, shall we? We're actually going to go to our Premiere. Do this.
Wasn't confidence or irreverence. Complication fails, lighting the light in your eyes. All the memories, they're no good to me. With a perfect smile, living a life you and I. But it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, no. Yeah, and I'm done with the lies, and I'm done with the pain. Done with those nights I'm screaming your name. I can't let go of you, I'm all alone. I'm so sick of your pressures, I won't be okay. Out of the world, I won't be the same. I can't let go of you, I'm all alone. All these visuals stuck inside my head was so bad to see, living a life that was dead. Dreaming as we fall, irreplaceable. Time to wake up, it's over and leave it alone. But it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, no. Yeah, and I'm done with the lies, and I'm done with the pain. Done with those.
That is looking really, really good, guys. I'm liking it. So we're at the 2-minute mark. It's looking pretty good. I like editing, but I edit in short bursts because like my fucking creative freedom kind of like poops out after a while.